All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Rand Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. As always, we want to make sure that we start out each and every morning by taking massive action, meaning we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. We want to make sure that we center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, assuring a balanced approach to trading. Let's continue to trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. We always want to imagine our trade successfully materializing. We want to be sure to obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed and fear. And we want to make sure that we are never, ever looking back or stopping once our trade has commenced. So, hope everybody has had a wonderful week, right? Markets slowed down a little bit yesterday because we had the Juneteenth holiday here in the United States. So nothing really going on in the United States as banks were closed. So moving over, taking a look at trading economics, we can see here that the US dollar index edged lower to around 98.6 on Friday, but remained on track for a weekly gain as the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran and the potential involvement of the United States boosted safe haven demand. Reports indicate that President Donald Trump, has given Iran the last chance to negotiate an end to its nuclear program, delaying a decision on potential military strikes for up to 2 weeks. On the monetary policy front, the Federal Reserve kept rates unchanged earlier this week while maintaining a cautious data-dependent approach in the face of growing economic and geopolitical uncertainty. Fed Chair Jerome Powell warned that inflation could pick up in the coming months, partly due to the inflationary effects of Trump's tariffs. The Fed also downgraded its economic growth outlook and reaffirmed expectations for two 25 basis point cuts in 2025. Um, Traders now look ahead to the Philadelphia Fed's manufacturing survey and the Conference Board's leading economic indicators on Friday. All right, so uh, pretty much more of the same there. The Fed remaining data dependent as well. This has been the outlook pretty much all year for the Fed. It's just kind of a wait and see because of the inflationary effects of Trump's tariffs, right? But we saw the dollar get a little bit of boost, uh, acting as a bit of a safe haven because of what's going on with Iran and Israel. Whereas before, right, we had some of the issues and the other conflicts that were going on. We didn't see the dollar being pushed as a safe haven as much, but this go around, we are definitely seeing the dollar had gained a little bit of strength, just a little bit, um, acting as a safe haven. Moving on over, taking a look at commodities, looking at gold. Gold fell to around 33.50 per ounce on Friday, hitting a 1 week low and heading for its first weekly decline in three, as investors sold bullion to cover losses in other markets amid escalating Middle East tensions. Right, so that's one to keep a note on. Right, so what caused a decrease in gold? Right, you had investors, they sold it, right, because we know they've been piling into gold for quite some time now, but they had to sell some gold to cover losses in other markets amid escalating Middle East tensions. Israel and Iran confirmed trading attacks, with Israel intensifying strikes on strategic and government targets in Tehran after reports of an Iranian missile hitting a major Israeli hospital. Investors also focused on the White House, with President Donald Trump weighing direct military action against Iran and a decision expected within 2 weeks. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve held rates steady earlier this week, and signaled two cuts by year end. Though Chairman Jerome Powell warned that tariffs could continue to push prices higher, fresh Fed forecast pointed to weaker growth, higher inflation, and lower employment in 2025. Stubborn inflation may limit rate cuts, weighing on non-yielding gold. Like I said, this has been the story all year. Um, we knew, right, following the data, that when Trump came in office, when Tommy came in office, right, the outlook was that his policies could lead to weaker growth, higher inflation, and lower employment. That's been the case, right? So nothing's really changed from that point. Take a look at that crude oil. Crude oil futures traded around 73.8 per barrel on Friday, heading for a third consecutive weekly gain as escalating hostilities in the Middle East continue to fuel fears of regional supply disruptions. Israel and Iran continue to exchange strikes, with Israel ordering intensified attacks on strategic and government targets in Tehran. Escalation, okay, we read that in the last report with gold. Um, Iranian missile hitting a major hospital in Israel. Meanwhile, eyes on the White House, Donald Trump waged direct military strikes. So it's pretty much the same story. Um, so despite the heightened risk, reports indicated that Iran is maintaining crude exports, loading 2.2 million barrels per day so far this week, highest in 5 weeks. Separately, oil prices were supported by a sharper than expected drop in U.S. crude inventories earlier in the week, with government data showing the largest weekly decline in a year. Okay. All right. So that's important to know as far as gold goes. Um, What's the news? Bloomberg, Trump hints he'll hold off Iran strike, give diplomacy time. Uh, Futures lower. Trump's Iran decision timeline and focus was moving markets. Um, Forex factory. We've got the SMB, right? Zero, right? So the previous 0.25% on the rate brought it down to zero. So if we what's happening early yesterday. So if we move, we take a look at what Schlegel has to say. Chairman Schlegel, with today's cut, we are countering lower inflationary pressure. Inflationary pressure has decreased. Negative rates were important to instrument in the past. We are aware uh, the undesirable effect of negative interest rates. We will not take the decision to go negative lightly. Interest rate cut driven by lower inflation. Negative rates have challenges. We can never exclude any measures on interest rates. Um, Schlegel, we believe growth will be dampened in the rest of the year because of high level of uncertainty. We have seen a clear decline in inflation, but we must um, not react on a single data point. We look at medium term. So brought it down 2-0. So I think that is the 56th cut. Let's look here. Forex we'll look at Swissy. Um, so Swiss franc was a little changed, 82 cents per dollar. Hovering near the strongest levels since 2011 as investors saw safe haven assets amount tensions in the Middle East and digested fresh policy decisions from the Swiss National Bank and the U.S. Federal Reserve. Trying to get down to, let me see. On the monetary front, the S&P cut its policy rate to zero, marking so it's to six. I thought it was the fifth. Sixth consecutive rate reduction in response to falling inflation, upward pressure on the franc, and heightened global uncertainty fueled by proposed U.S. tariffs, with inflation turning negative in May for the first time in 4 years, missing the S&P's target of 0 to 2%. The central bank is now nearing a return to negative rates. Meanwhile, the U.S. Federal Reserve held rates steady and indicated that the rate cuts could be on the horizon later this year, right? So you gotta find that fine balance with inflation, right? You don't want inflation to be too high. You can't have it too low either, right? So it is a very important job that central banks play. Okay. Uh, so that's where we are. Are there any questions on the fundamentals? No? All good? All right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
All good, man. What's top of mind for you this morning?
Um, just following all the chaos, man. You covered most of it. So just still tracking the Israel-Iran situation and um just tracking the trying to track the things behind what's actually being said.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
that's it.
For sure.
That's what my primary focus is.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just where we are, right? You look at all the different outlets and things like that. That's what's being followed, right? Um, check CNBC, stock future slip, as Trump weighs attacks on Iran, right? So again, all roads lead to Donald Trump, right? As
Yep.
as usual, like man, it's a strong grip on everything. A strong grip on everything. Um, but that's where we are. These are the conditions that we have to make our decisions in. So yeah, I hear you there, man. This is what's leading the way. So this is what we have to focus on as well. All right. So not a whole lot of activity yesterday. Like I said, as markets were closed here in the United States, banks were closed, things like that, because of the Juneteenth holiday. But it is Friday, so hey, does anybody have any pairs, right? I'd like to do that on Fridays. Any particular pairs, stocks, whatever indices that you guys want to take a look at this morning? Joy said, all
Delta.
good. Okay. Delta. What's the
Delta is
Delta? What was it last? I think it's let's see, DAL, I think, for Delta. Am I right on that?
yes, DAL.
Yeah, Delta. So let me go in. We'll go here. This is that Oracle. All right, 80/20. Okay. So that's one there. This is on the 1 hour. One that I've been keeping an eye on there, right? So you can see how doesn't matter, right? Even with stocks, we're in this zone, right? So let me put this one in real quick. Good. All right. Sure. Oracle 80/20 play is kind of stalling there. Okay. That one's right at the beginning, right? So see if we can get that to correct and work its way down. We shot straight up to our 80/20 zone. Okay. And right, like so. Well, see if we can get that correction. Okay. See you. One, TP, two. All right, so this one I've been keeping an eye out, didn't make the immediate correction, but it came up to our zone, right? And that's how it goes. Shot up like a rocket, but look where the correction is coming. It's amazing. All right. All right. So if you're looking for a trade, there's one right there. See if we can get it to move to the downside. All right. There we are. So let's take a look at let's find this delta setup. Right, good there. You've got second, we've got Palantir setting up in the zone as well. The key is to watch below this, see if we can get back below that 135.24 on that setup, right? Because right now it's holding. So keeping an eye on a lot of these to see what they want to do. So we'll put that one there. And we'll see if we can get it to stall out in our zone, right? It's a beautiful correction off the last one, right? So it happens now. All right, so there's your 80-20. Palantir 4 is a 4-hour play, right? Look how the bottom fell out of that. Then we reversed out at an 8-6. All right, so all right, stay disciplined to our zones and our areas. Like I always say, even if you don't like trading 80-20s and trading counter the trend, this to still tell you that I'm not buying here, right? Because we have the possibility of a correction. Okay? So you say I'm long um, Palantir, then you would prefer to see a healthy correction, right? See if we can get a low price. All right, just like that on that one. It's just there's two setups right out the gate. We'll take the Shopify and we'll go because I haven't marked some of these up yet. We'll go DL. Do we not? Do we not have it in here yet?
Yeah, I'm not
Oh
seeing
man.
it. I'm not seeing that one or Royal Caribbean.
What's the symbol for Royal Caribbean?
I don't see either one of them in.
I forgot I got rid of this. But anyway, let's go. All right, so this is where we are from a monthly perspective with Delta. And just mark it up, right? Um, Joy, what's got you thinking Delta?
So I have a stash account where I do all my stocks at, and they offer suggestions. And basically it was like, hey, it's travel season, check out Uber, Expedia, Delta, and Royal Caribbean. And Delta and Royal Caribbean sparked most of my interest because it is cruise season. And
Yeah.
then they need flights to get out to them,
Okay. I like it.
along with
I like
gas.
it. Right. You see that report, right, with the US, how we keep seeing that decrease in the storage, right? Because of that demand. Um, those numbers with oil. So it's definitely being supported. It is that time of year. So let's see what happens. If we can get it. I definitely like the way you're thinking there.
Hey, look at the little newscasting at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Quarterly dividend, right? So that quarterly dividend is up 25%. That's good to know, right? If you're investing in it and you're buying it, and pays a dividend. So we go there. Um, so right, and bring it down to the daily. There, but right. So, so kind of doing a whole lot, right? Potential crown, maybe, right? Potential crown, right? If we can, if we pull back there, right? You have a right tip level, right? So if we ran a daily crown, that means you would take, right, this whole leg here, daily crown like so. We see if we can get that pullback, you know, uh, possibly. But I don't know if we come back through that support. You know. So that's what I'm seeing off the lows right there. Potential for that to happen. You know, do we pull back before we get back long? You know, not sure, but we definitely have the makings of one there. Um, so we can see, right, possibly wait, like this deep green, right? So somewhere around that zone, if we can get price to pull back, we can have a potential crown. So we'll see what happens. Being that it's seasonal, hey, can we get a pullback and a move to to the upside? So we know we've got that there on a daily. If we come down to the 4 hour, uh, and it's similar. Can we get that pullback and then that continuation, right? Shall see. But that's what I'm thinking there. But for crown, we took out a high, right? A this major high there. Now we're pulling back. We'll see. All right. So that's what I got, right? If we just say, hey, it's seasonal bias potentially to the upside, let's see if we can get a correction and then a continuation on that with Delta. Should be interesting. So that's a possible play. Uh, Royal Caribbean. Let's see. See what we
That one
got.
is RCL.
RCL. L. Mhm. All right. It's looking pretty decent. Let's take it out to the monthly. Wow. Stock up, right? So some good ones, Joy. Let's see what we can do. So we've got taking out a market. Man, that's a new high that got created there. Put in our monthly low here. Black, another low. So that. So we'll come down to the weekly. Nothing really doing there. Let's go down to the daily. Support levels there. Here. There. That crept in right there. Back. Fibs. 61, 44, 34. What's this? 44, 41. All right, so it's there like so we didn't quite get that 786. So boom. ABCD wave here. So start it over. Candle was on that 38, 34. There. Took off here. 50% pullback. Straight into our D extension there. Got a 8-6 pullback there. So we come up just shy. Like we came up just shy. So, right, like so. Moving forward, another ABCD wave completed here. Check to see. where our high formed on this one. So 83.97, the high was 92.10, 92.11. So it's got to be this one here. Boom. See the wave there, pull back, the extension hit. So we got to go here with this one. ABCD wave, the extension hit. Boom. Here, the extension hit. Hit our extension without a pullback. Right. So this has been your lowest, and we dropped off. Lowest point there. Extension hit. And so this is where we are in the daily. Just like so. A high there. The extension. So that's your daily. That's your daily. Possibly. All right. We'll see. So you don't have a 382 there, right? But we found a new low, and this is pushing off that B boundary. Right? This is pushing off that B boundary. So that's where we are, right? So we're looking bullish right now, but we're in a daily 80-20 zone. Maybe we push to retest the highs, right? If we break through the high, then we'll probably continue to that extension. Royal Caribbean, right? So we definitely have a low that formed right here now. Let's see. All right, so that just may continue to push, right? So on here we've got our stochastic in the buy zone. We've got a new low, so that may push to retest the highs there. Right. It's a decent little structure shaping up there. All right, RSI in the buy zone, and then we've got the low that's formed. So maybe we move back up to retest, right? That what's the high on that? 279.89, pretty much 280 on that. All right. Any other pairs we want to take a look at? All right, so let's look at this Roblox setup, right? Straight to the extension off the daily. This stock has been on fire, right? So that's straight to the extension. We need to reset. We need a reset now at this point on Roblox. I'll take it down to the 4. Take it down to our 4 hour to see how we're shaping up. Right? So much easier with Smart Trader, right? So extension hit, we need a reset, right? That's huge. But again, even on Roblox, look, 80-20, bang, straight to the buy zone, right? Up against weekly supports, straight to the extension, right? It works. It works, everybody. So that's your Roblox setup. Robinhood, it's in the middle of marking all of these up. This is crazy. All right. About to move right back into the highs.
What's hood, Benny?
Robin Hood.
Okay.
Uh, right. So, which is what, like, I have a Robinhood account, right? The app, investing app, right? Bond, stock, crypto, everything, right? So
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
your
I have one
Robinhood. So
too. I just didn't
yeah,
know that's what it's
yeah,
called.
yeah, for sure. So it's up. It's up. Is making a move, right? Look at that. Okay. There we go. Just like that. We'll come down to our daily. So, same higher, right? So, boom. Right. Boom. Had a straightforward extension, no pullback. This has been on a tear, right? So we're gonna need a correction. So start to work our way down to see if there's anything shaping up right on our lower time frames. 382 pullback there, right? So that's probably going to continue to head long. So we need to jump back up to this daily chart, closing right in on an extension. This is a daily D extension here. So we have to be aware of that. That's where we are. Robinhood. All right. So that was definitely moving along, right? Approaching the all-time high. Right. So let's see what happens. Okay, that's right at 79 where that extension is on that. All right. Um, what else? What else? We know we got Meta. Monthly, that's pushing higher too. Mark this one up real quick. It's a monthly, so that'll show up on our weekly level. Um, so, so we're approaching some highs, everybody. There's been some good runs for some of these stocks. We stick to our zones, right? We look for the opportunity within our framework, right? We don't go outside the framework. All right, so let's go down to our daily. Zone setting up there. Approaching the highs, right? But we've got an extension, a daily extension. $762.84. Boom. Like that. Okay, so we'll see if we can get there. See that high at 740. All right, so we know that's the daily extension. Go back and see if the 4 is tracking different as far as there. Four. This is the $618. The extension. Extension like that. This is my spot on the 4 or not. Yes, so yeah. So similar, same thing, right? We could drop down to the 1. Second part of our double bottom here. You see where we are, right? So we got a 382. The price is just stuck, right? So we needed to break out. Little zone here. That's where we are. 618, just above, right, our range that we're trapped in. So that's where we are on Meta. Right. Coinbase, right, is moving up. And these are, um, these are stocks that, a lot of major investors are holding, right? So I picked them out for us to follow, right? Because they definitely have some volume behind them. So we definitely should be looking to make plays whenever they're in our zones, right? Got another double bottom there. Let's get down to the weekly. put some levels in. And once you get, chart set up, now it's just a question of, is it in my zone or not? That's it. Very simple. If it is, I can look to trade it just like any other asset, right? Work out my risk management and go from there. Choppy. Just need to catch a leg, which is probably going to be here, right? Really, bottom drawn up. And what I'm going to do, take these levels off. So we've got a daily D extension here. Five. Well, so we know that's the daily extension. Seems similar on the 4. All right, got one coming in right before that. But this is our daily. 618. The extension, like so. Now I'm kind of curious off this leg if we can catch any type of a pullback, which looks like it already happened here. It's another 80-20. Right, and this is where we are on the 15-minute. So any type of a correction, right, we might be able to, get involved with that. Like so. We'll push higher to the 80-20 zone, which is where that 4-hour extension is, somewhere in there. Any questions on Coinbase?
My bad, bro. I had to step away for a second. On the daily, did you see the head and shoulders?
Second. What do you think, head and shoulders to the downside?
Am I looking at the wrong stuff? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one. Zoom out. Larger there. That full move. Mine looks different. Yeah, so starting at that left side, that left all the way to the left, the high coming down, and then
What are you
it's
talking about right in
just
here?
below the equal high your resistance level at 350.
So you're talking about up here?
Yeah, the system might have you bring it a little bit shorter than that, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had the wrong thing on. Hold on. So something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little short of the percentage is like 85%. Um, but if you go ahead and take it up to the high, and then if you bring your starting dot down a little bit, yeah,
Right. Okay. No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Great work, man. Great work. Didn't see that at all.
appreciate it.
Nice. Yeah, it is. It's a good setup. So here comes the line, right? We're thinking long. So look for corrections on that. Appreciate it, man. I didn't see that one at all. Great work. Great work on that. So that's where we are, right? So we look for some pullbacks and continuations on Coinbase. Um, what else do we have? Anything? Anything else? What I have in the chat here. Can look at tomorrow. Can we look
Ask about
at
Bitcoin.
space? Oh, Bitcoin and then Virgin Voyages Holdings at I see what you put in the chat there. So tomorrow can we look at the holdings for Virgin Voyages? Okay, let's do that. Uh I think I got where do I have Bitcoin at? I can't remember where that's where I was tracking it. I was using that workspace for Bitcoin. So we're approaching an extension on the daily, Joy. 112, 481. So that's what I have on the latest ABCD move there for Bitcoin. So that's the only one I've been tracking, but I don't know why I haven't. I need to be focused more on those, especially considering the current administration. But I've been pretty much like buying and holding, XRP, all that stuff, which is at Virgin Galactic Holding. Okay. Take a look at pull that up. Virgin Galactic. Okay. Um, I need to we need to get those charts back up. Because XRP is at what, $2 and something right now? 217. Right. And so 384. So it's slowly but surely it's slowly but surely moving back to those levels. Um is that what is XRP USDT? I don't know what's going on.
Those mini lots.
Let me just come over here real quick.
On
XRP versus
on
dollars is
iTrader, this XRP USDT.
So that is the one.
Yeah.
XRP USDT right there. 217. It's just stalling on the daily right now. Even at 217 is upsetting, right? Before that whole thing went down with the Fed, man. I had it at an average price of 23 cents.
Facts, man. I had some at 17, dude.
Yep. So ain't too much going on right now for me to mark it up. It's just moving sideways. That's how I'll get to it. Well, that's where we are. Like I said, we're definitely, and Ryan's been talking about it all week, definitely moving, looking at a ton of different stocks and things like that. So as you all do your research, right? Let us know during the sessions, just like you did today. Let us know in the community. Let's get them marked up and start trading them. Right? We're pros. We're pros, so we can trade any assets. All right. We just want to make sure that we do the research, and not just stick to the technical side, but we understand, the companies and what they're about. Ryan, anything before we close out?
No, sir. Great session, bro. Appreciate you as always.
Hey, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.